On today's episode, I'm taking a look back on some things that have been said about Skate 4 and trying to break down what these things might actually mean when it comes to the new game. So sit back, relax, and let's talk some Skate.
Expose those cats.
Welcome back to another episode of the Hippy Jump Podcast, a podcast all about the video game franchise Skate. If you enjoy what I bring you today, I would greatly appreciate it if you like and subscribe to the podcast and even comment down below to get featured in the next episode. I'm your host, William. Today I will be talking about some things that have been said about the new Skate game from the EA CEO and also some Skate devs as well. I'm going to be taking a look at these things that have been said about the game and kind of trying to break them down and dig deeper into what they might mean. Before I jump into this video is not about any breaking news or confirmed news that we recently got. These are older things that have been said. I'm just kind of taking a look back at them. So I just don't want to mislead you up front. I'm just taking a look back and kind of theorizing, speculating. To me, it's fun to kind of dissect these things that have been said and try to figure out what they mean, even if at the end of the day, when the game comes out, we were completely wrong, but hey, it's still fun to speculate. So let's jump right into this. I want to take us back to what Andrew Wilson said in February. And if you didn't know, Andrew Wilson is actually the CEO of EA. You know, he's the head guy, so he's got to make all the financial calls and stuff. And on one of those calls, he actually said that Skate 4 is launching soon. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this, and I'm sure you were paying attention when this came out, and you were like, what, launching soon? Like, what? That's quick. Like, what? So this is a big factor that's going to go into what I'm going to be talking about today, but I'll get to that soon. He also said on that call, user-generated content has been at the very center of The Sims for a long time. It's at the very center of modes like FIFA and Madden Ultimate Team. It's at the very center of the design of Skate, which will be launching soon. So that's where the launching soon thing comes from, and he also says a couple more things in that. Now, we have heard user-generated content stuff come from Jeff Grubb. He's talked about that as well. So this game sounds like it's going to be very, very heavy on community creations and stuff like that. I personally really like The Sims, and I know The Sims has a big focus on that as well. I can't speak to the other titles as much that he mentioned in this quote, but for The Sims, there is a lot of player creations with the building and, you know, creating your Sims, and even people uploading their own builds and their families and all that sort of stuff. It's very, very centered around user-generated content. So now that we got that out of the way, let's take it back even further. Now, some of you might have missed this one. This was actually a Jenkem article that came out when this game was announced. This was an interview with Cuz and Darren. And if you didn't know, Cuz and Darren are the guys in the video when they announced Skate 4, you know, the two guys that were side by side. So if you didn't know Cuz and Darren, they have a long history with the Skate franchise and have worked on all of them. But regardless, both of them are working on this new Skate game. Both of them are the people that you saw in the announcement video, and they're very important people to this new Skate game. They're like the creative directors. In this article, it was an interview between Ian from Jenkem and Cuz and Darren, and I want to take a look at one of the questions specifically, and let's see how they answered this question. So the question is, are you considering making more community aspects to the new game? Which is a weird way to, I think that's a typo. That's kind of worded weird, but you get it. Basically, they say, yes, it's going to be more representative of where the culture is in skateboarding now. We were pretty ahead of the curve back in the day with our social features. It'll be an evolution of all of those things. So for sure, they were ahead of the curve with the social features and everything. Skate 3 was very innovative when it came to that. And now I want to take us to another part of the answer further in the article. And it says, we want to have fun with the community and give them a platform and let them do their own thing. It's like, hey, you could just go steal that wood and build your own spot, like a sandbox. So that's very interesting. That kind of goes back to the user-generated content thing that we keep hearing about. You know, this was said when the game was first announced, and it seems like they're still heading down that road now. Skate 4 seems like it's going to be very, very creation heavy, and I think that's great. I think that's going to be so great for the community. But the reason I bring up these quotes is because I was thinking back the other day on these things that I've read about this game, and I was thinking, you know, what if Skate 4 is just gonna be an online thing? And I don't really know what the name of this would be other than an online platform, so that's what I'm gonna call it. What if Skate 4 is this big online open world and it's a bunch of players and they're all skating around, you know, putting stuff down, skating stuff? Obviously, I don't think it would just be chaos like that, you know, just people putting stuff everywhere. I don't think it would be online all the time, but I guess I'm thinking more of in a way like Riders Republic. If you go into Riders Republic, it's this huge open world, but they put ghosts of players all throughout the world and also some real players in real time as well. But it feels like this giant world full of just people doing all these crazy sports around you. And I'm thinking, what if that's what Skate is? What if they're just kind of giving us the sandbox, like he said, or the platform, and we build off of that? It's like they're gonna lay the foundation for us, and then the community does what they want with the game. The reason I'm thinking this stuff is because if we go back to what Andrew Wilson said, he did say Skate 4 was releasing soon, and I just don't understand how it could release soon. I mean, depending on what soon is. I wish he would have clarified, you know, but unfortunately he didn't, so all we can do is speculate on that. But if it's really releasing soon, then are we gonna have a single player story? Are we gonna have a bunch of pros we run into? Are we gonna have all that stuff from the old games? Because if we look at it, you know, this game hasn't been in development for that long. I mean, to be fair, the Skate games were developed in like years time. Like they came out back to back to back, which was crazy, but they had a lot of stuff to build off of back then, I think. And I'm sure they do now as well. They even said that in the Jenkem interview, you know, they still have stuff that they can build off of. But I would imagine there's a lot more going into this one just to get it from, you know, old gen to new gen stuff. I feel like the process would be a little more tedious than it used to be. So really, I'm just thinking, if it's releasing soon, are they gonna have the time to really smooth out a single player story and all those things? Or are we just gonna have a platform where, you know, there might be pros in the world that you can do challenges for or missions for, but will it be less focus on story? And would that be a good or bad thing? If you go back to my Riders Republic example, the way Riders Republic worked, if you didn't play that game, they had a few tutorial missions in the beginning that had cutscenes with actual characters, but then once you got deeper into the game, those kind of went to the side, and there were some little pop-ups from characters here and there, like on a little cell phone that you can watch when they're talking to you for like 30 seconds. But other than that, that's really all the story it had. So could this be how the new Skate game is? You know, there's a pro that introduces you into the game, and then there's some few more pros that you run into maybe in the beginning, but once you get more into it, it kind of just opens up. And it's like, boom, here's this big platform. Go have fun. Go do crazy stuff with your friends. Another thing that I find interesting when it comes to Skate 4 releasing soon is Full Circle is still hiring a significant amount of positions. Now, I'm not a game developer, and I've said that like a million times. I feel like I should just wear a shirt that says I'm not a game developer every single time I do this podcast. So I know nothing about game development, but it just looks like a lot of positions. Now, I don't really know the specifications of these positions, so like I could be way wrong about that, but it's like, this game's releasing soon and you're still hiring for all of this, you know? It just seems weird. Now, I'm not trying to say that we're gonna get some half-baked product, because we're not. I highly doubt that's gonna happen. It seems like they're really taking their time with this game. But it's just interesting. What are we actually gonna get when this game comes out? Because the way they're talking is, it seems like the player is the main focus. And by that I mean they're gonna give you the world, and then I guess through part creator and character customization and I would assume like a logo creator, stuff like that, that's when the game will really shine, because it'll have all that user generated content to make the game last and live on. I think this would ensure that this game continues on and on, instead of like the old model of Skate where they would drop Skate and then a couple DLCs and then the game cycle would kind of just be over, minus like park creations and stuff like that. But it seems like their mission with this game is to kind of keep it going and going through you and me, the players. And also another interesting thought I had was, if they were to go this route of an online platform, would it be possible that this game is free to play? I'm not saying I think it's going to be, but I have seen people say that. And to be honest, I don't know how I would feel about that. I personally don't think it's going to be, but I could see how they would do it. I mean, you could really take the same model that every game is doing nowadays, to be honest. You could easily have a skateboarding battle pass, you know, with tons of gear and customization stuff. You could even have seasons revolving around a specific brand or a pro or something like that, where you get specific things in the battle pass to that. I think if they were to do that, the game will follow very closely to like the model of Battlefield, where now Battlefield is like free updates, free maps, free all of that stuff, except if you want the cool stuff, you gotta pay money for it. And by cool stuff, I mean cosmetic stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how well that would translate to Skate. I'm not saying that's what this is gonna be. I'm not trying to like sound the alarm and be like, oh my God, this is what Skate's gonna be. I don't think it's going to be. I'm just speculating, like I said. It's just interesting to think about. And I really want to get y'all's opinion on that specifically, the free-to-play thing. What do you think of that? I would imagine most of you don't want that. I don't want that, but it's just an interesting thought. One thing I did want to touch on from the answer in the Jenkum article, when he says you could just go steal that wood and build your own spot, that's very interesting. So I wonder, are we gonna have like materials and a certain amount of materials like Fortnite? Like, what does that mean, you know? So if I want to put a kicker down for this spot, I have to have a certain amount of wood. Seems interesting, but how do you get wood? Do you really just go around and steal it? Do I need to chop some trees? How do you get like metal to make rails and stuff? I don't know. I don't know if that's really how specific they're gonna get with it. That's just kind of what this quote makes me think. So really, those are my thoughts on all these things that I've been thinking about in terms of Skate 4. I feel like I'm becoming more and more confident in saying that I think this is just gonna be an open world, open for us to kind of build off of. It seems like the community is really the focus of this game, and it seems like there's going to be an emphasis on creation and playing with your friends. It kind of seems like the single player ways of the old Skate games might be taking a back seat, and we'll see how it pans out, to be honest. Now, I could be completely way off with all of this stuff, and I think honestly this would be a fun video to come back to and react to once we have the game and we've played it. I think it would be interesting to see if any of my theories right now come true. But I guess that's it on today's topic. Not news or anything. I'm just kind of speculating today. Just kind of thinking on some things we've heard. Obviously, just like you, I'm waiting on the next word on the Skate game. I'm really hoping we get something this summer. I hope we get a new trailer or something. But you know, only time will tell. And at the end of the day, I do want them to take their time on this game. And I don't want them to rush it. So, I mean, the more we gotta wait, we just gotta wait. We've already waited so long, so hopefully we can wait it out a little bit longer. But what do you guys think of all this stuff? Please leave your answers down in the comments below so I can react to them in the next episode. Do you think it's gonna be an online platform, or do you think they're gonna have more of a single player story like they used to? Do you think it might be free to play? Do you think that's ridiculous? Would you hate it? Would you like it? All of these things, what are your opinions on everything I just said, everything I'm talking about? I want to hear from you, and I want to discuss it in the next episode. Before I head out of here today, I want to look back on your guys' comments from the last few episodes that I did. Again, I really appreciate all the love and support that I've been getting. I mean, it's insane. I know I'm not like doing crazy big YouTuber numbers, but like 2 of my episodes almost have 200 views, and there's plenty of likes to go around and so many comments from all of you. and it's really, really great. Everyone's saying very kind things, which is amazing because it's definitely a little nerve-wracking putting yourself just out there on YouTube right in front of the camera. But the reception from you all has been amazing and I really appreciate it. So let's take a look at some of your comments. So on my Skate 4 wishlist video, Army of Ninjas said, I want the maps of all 3 games and DLC, or at least major areas and skate parks. I want 60 frames per second in all areas. In Skate 3, the user parks were 30 FPS. I want cross-platform multiplayer. I want the ability to swap the analog sticks for us left-handed people. So let's run through this. I want the maps of all 3 games and DLC. That's a big wish, for sure. All of them, that would be a lot. He says, at least major areas and skate parks. I could see skate parks. I don't think they're gonna bring all of the skate parks back. And I do think they'll bring back some spots, but I think they'll be scattered out throughout the world and probably be like more of a tribute to a specific spot or something, kind of woven in between this open world. And I think that would bring back, the most important skate parks, the most beloved ones. He says, I want cross-platform multiplayer, which absolutely 100% agree with. I think there's no way we won't get that. And he says, I want the ability to swap the analog sticks for us left-handed people, which is interesting. I've never thought about that. I didn't know that was a feature that people would want, but I think that's really cool. I mean, accessibility, stuff like that, that's great. So Army of Ninjas, I do hope you get that. And then my boy Ian, he says, I want a Death Star trench run mod, skate to the exhaust port, and so I think this is a great idea. This is the type of stuff that mod support is made for. I mean, if someone did this, that would be amazing. I don't know if they will, but that would be sick. So Felix leaves a comment. It's a pretty lengthy one, which is great. I appreciate it. But I want to pick a specific part out of this comment. He says that we know that climbing is a thing. I love finding hidden spots to skate. It would be sick if you could climb up into a building and find a hidden skate park inside, or over the fence of an abandoned water park, or through the bush to find a hidden bowl or something. So yeah, I love that. And obviously in the video we saw of the unconfirmed gameplay, they were traversing, it was climbing stuff, and I think that's huge because I know for sure I'm not the only person in Skate 3 that used to use the object dropper to stack objects to try to get to places. That was definitely a thing I used to do, and I'm sure you guys did that as well. So I think it would be great if they hid spots throughout the map and you could climb through and get to places like that. He also says going through a bush to find a spot, which kind of reminds me of Skate 2 with the big sign. You would go through the bushes and then go along this like metal walkway all the way down to the top of the sign. That was a great spot, really cool hidden spot at that. So I would love that for sure. One more thing before I end this episode, I just wanted to bring something up. I got an email from my boy Giacomo, who I totally mispronounced your name last time, but I looked it up and I think that's how you say it, so let me know if I said it right. But he emailed me and he pointed out that the Skate Twitter actually follows people like Shane O'Neill, Eric Costin, and also Street League, which is interesting. Now this account was the old Skate account as well. It's just been converted into the new one and they changed their ad name and everything. So these could just be old accounts they used to follow, but they only follow like 34 people, which is, it's not a lot. So just interesting information, not a confirmation of anything, but interesting to point out. I did not know that. I'm not on Twitter, so interesting to see. But it makes me wonder because both of those pros were just in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, and I would imagine they would have some sort of contract, but I wonder if that would forbid them from going into another skateboarding game. I don't know. I have no information on that. If anyone knows, please comment down below, let me know, but I wouldn't imagine it would, but who knows. I think we're at the point in skateboarding where I think it would be acceptable to have Tony Hawk in the new skate game and still have Tony Hawk games. I think they're so separate from each other, and I think everyone understands that those are two very, very different skateboarding games, and they're respected in their own regard. So why not have Tony Hawk and Skate? But anyways, that's it for me, guys. I really appreciate all the comments. Like I said, Please leave your thoughts and opinions down below on today's video. What did you think of everything I talked about? I really want to hear it. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, like I said in the beginning, please like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. I'm trying to grow a community here, so tell your friends too. If you got friends that like skate, tell them to come check out this video, come talk with me. I'll put them in the next video. Let's all become friends. So thank you guys. Have a great day and go play some skate.